Welcome back, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Last year I made a video about the 5th anniversary of my ownership of this awesome motorcycle here, my 2019 KTM 790 Adventure R. In that video I did not discuss the premature wear of camshaft lobes, the issue that has been plaguing these bikes. Ignorance was bliss. I even mentioned on that video that I thought I knew what the expected problems with these bikes were, and that I knew how to handle them. Rumors of the cam lobes problem with this bike were just starting at that time, and I was not well informed about it. Now it's a well-known issue. Even KTM has issued a goodwill campaign about it, taking care of owners of these bikes who have this problem. It appears it's not a question of if, but when this motorcycle will start showing the symptoms of prematurely worn cam lobes. According to the internet, it's a ticking bomb. Okay, kidding aside, before we get into my question to you, yes, I want your help with what to do with this motorcycle. I have to say that this bike has been, hands down, my best adventure motorcycle ever. I ride it mostly on dirt, but on the few times I rode it on pavement, it was enough for me to know it is great on pavement as well. But it is primarily for me a dirt-only motorcycle. It has been with me in many trails in Oregon, including sections of the Oregon BDR. It pushed high speeds at the section 1 of the BDR. It showed how stable it is at speed on dirt. Continuing on section 1, it climbed the Domingo Pass. What a nice road. On section 3, it had some fun at the Luge, and it climbed Pine Mountain. It has been to other places in Oregon, like the Alvord Playa at several times, and it has climbed the Steens Mountain Loop. It has been to this awesome canyon, the Leslie Gulch, and many other fun dirt roads in Oregon. It has been to the Death Valley some 3 times or more, maybe 4 times I think, where it has done several less known roads and popular roads, like this awesome ride from the racetrack to the Ubehibe crater the day after it snowed in that area. Beautiful landscape, isn't it? And it has been to Salina Road and so many other fun dirt roads in the Death Valley, including roads with beautiful views or just perfect grounds to push this bike to my limits. I'm an average rider, so I can assure you that I've never pushed this bike to its limits. But it does make me feel like I'm a great rider, a much better rider than I am. And that's because it's light in its class size, it feels and looks like a dirt bike, a big dirt bike, with its great suspension, a balanced chassis, and a smooth and powerful engine, a combo that makes it special. If that was not enough, it delivers it all in a nice package with low center of gravity, nice ergonomics, a nice dashboard, all the electronics you need and some you don't need, and dare I say, it's comfortable while at it. As mentioned before, I basically only ride it on dirt. Thank goodness for having a trailer so I don't wear knobby tires on pavement, and by trailering it, for the most part unknowingly, I've been saving this bike's cam lobes from wearing it on hundreds of miles of pavement that I would need to ride to get to and from all these places where I take this bike on rides. This bike has 3,000 miles on the clock, but it would have close to 15,000 miles if I had ridden it to and from all these places I've ridden it. I change the oil every year at the start of the riding season, which means oil is always fresh and with less than 1,000 miles ridden each time I change it. I changed the air filter once at about 2,500 miles. The area past the filter was impeccable, clean. Nothing had gone past the filter but air. Irrespective of that, if the internet is correct, the cam lobes get prematurely worn no matter what. I've heard stories of camshafts needing to be replaced before the first valve check at 18,000 miles. I've heard of reports of scoring at 6,000 miles, several reports of premature wear between 12 and 14,000 miles. I've heard reports of damage being done at even lower miles. But also, some people have reported no signs of problems on first valve check at 18,000 miles. What's real about this? The internet tells a story, KTM tells another, maybe it's something in the middle. And the Goodwill campaign tells me something is happening. Is it affecting my motorcycle? Probably. But as of now, my motorcycle doesn't have the typical problems. It starts right up, it has full power, fuel economy is getting better and better, but it does have a sound I don't like, which is something it has had from day one. I was there when the motor was first started in American soil, the day I picked it up at the local KTM dealership. Does this sound means it's cooking some problem there? I don't know. Talking about my local area KTM dealership, I was just there a few days ago to inquire about this cam lobe issue. I wanted to know what they recommended I did. They have always been very supportive of me and my 790. I have two problems with this bike. The first was when the clutch plates froze together. They offered to fix it under warranty, but I decided to do it myself to learn about the bike. Should this problem happen again? The job was easy since the plates sit above the oil level, which may actually explain why I had this problem in the first place. When the second problem happened, the shock failed, they went to bat for me. They called KTM and they got it rebuilt on KTM's dime. Fearing what could happen to this bike with the cam lobe issue, I have ridden it less, almost nothing since last year. I'm unsure about what to do with it. While at the dealer, I asked them what my options are and what they recommend regarding this potential camshaft wear problem. I told them my bike has no symptoms, so they just told me keep riding it. Well, they told me more than that. First of all, they told me if I have worn cam lobes, then KTM will take care of it through the Goodwill campaign. The new part has wider followers, which basically increases the contact patch, and with that it reduces the pressure per area on the lobes and followers, which should reduce the speed in which it wears, leading to a longer life to the camshaft lobes. KTM has added an additional oil strainer on bikes manufactured post-2020, and after 2021 they changed to wider finger followers. At some point after that, I've heard they redesigned the head with the idea of improving oil flow into that area. The guys at the dealership suggested I should put more miles on it to ride it with abandon, wait until the 18,000 mile valve check, and if valves can't be adjusted within specs at that time, it will trigger KTM's Goodwill campaign. If the bike fails before the 18,000 mile valve check, and it is because of the camshafts, they told me in that case, KTM will take care of the problem within the Goodwill campaign as well. I asked them, what if I wanted to check it now? They told me I would need to pay for what it's about a 4-hour job, which at values of today, August 2025, it would cost about $600. If the result of the diagnosis indicates there is no premature wear, then it would basically be an out-of-sync valve check. Otherwise, it would be my chance to get new parts and peace of mind for several thousand miles. Other than these two options, I could sell the motorcycle. Prices are scary low. There is one with similar mileage to mine for about $8,000. Prices vary from $6,500 to $9,000. It would be a loss. But by selling it, it would likely cut more losses should these prices go even further down or KTM goes under, which could happen. They survived 2 major meltdowns so far. Another scenario is what if KTM decides they will no longer run the Goodwill campaign? Who knows? On the good side of it, I've heard that KTM just reopened its Austrian plant. Definitely a good sign. So here's my question to you. Considering I like the way this bike performs as I described to you, what do you recommend I do? Option 1. Do nothing and ride it to 18,000 miles and get the valves checked at the KTM dealership and then go from there. At the rate I ride it, trailering it to the riding locations, it will be a while for me, years maybe, to get to the 18,000 miles. Certainly years. And then, even if the camshaft fails before the 18,000 miles, it may still be a while until it happens. Will KTM or this campaign still be there to take care of it when it happens? I don't know. Option 2 would be to spend $600 and do the diagnosis and make a decision based on that. If I would go on a long ride with this bike, like thousands of miles, like going to Alaska, I would certainly spend the money to check this issue. Or I would go with option 3, which is to sell it. If I sell it, now the question becomes, what would I replace it with? What about a KTM A90 with new heads, revised cam followers, and extra strainer? But that would be expensive. And are these new bikes cams not failing? I don't know. How about a Honda Transalp 750, which is not even close to this bike in terms of suspension performance and has that annoying back to default mode that Honda has on the right settings each time it is restarted? Why they do that? And then the wheels are not tubeless and there is less grunt on low RPM situations. It's less expensive, but it would cost me to upgrade its suspension and the wheels. On the other side of it, it's a Honda. Then another option would be a Ducati Desert X, which is heavier, top heavier at that, and taller and expensive, but it is sexy as hell. I have a thing or two up with Ducati. Or maybe I should wait for the BMW R12 GS. It's heavier and also expensive, and what with that ridiculous dashboard, both dash versions, that round one with only the speedo and then that narrow one with limited information, both are not designed for a nerd like me. But that bike has a historical, well-proven, air-cooled boxer motor. Then there is the Aprilia 660, less powerful but probably performs similarly to the KTM on dirt, has its issue as well, but it is unique. I basically listed the motorcycles I'm interested in, knowing none of them, except for the 890, would match the 790's performance on all areas. There are other options that don't quite call my attention, such as the Tenere 700 and the BMW and Triumph mid-size adventure bikes. So, what do you recommend I do? Having said all of this, I'm glad KTM has put itself behind its product. There was some denial about this problem at some point, I've heard, but they came around. I've heard testimony from owners of motorcycles from other brands who are fighting with their manufacturers for something like a failed shock at 3,000 miles and still under warranty. And other basic issues like a seat coming apart with 1,000 miles on a premium motorcycle. The reality is, no motorcycle is 100% safe from manufacturing problems. What counts is how a company treats you, the customer. It's how they assume responsibility for that eventual serious shortcoming on their products and whether they make it right for their customers. Thank you for giving your opinion about what I should do with this bike, and thank you for watching this video. According to the internet, it's a ticking bomb.